The U.S. is once again seeing skyrocketing gun sales, but gun retailers tell us the ammunition to use them has become near impossible to find or too expensive to buy. Tonight, we get into the reasons why. Then we'll verify, is there any evidence to the online rumors that the government is buying and hoarding ammunition to keep it out of the hands of law-abiding citizens? Here's Scott Broom.
In uncertain times, we wanted to know why ammunition shelves are empty, why prices have skyrocketed.
Wait a minute, what is this?
That's $95 for 100 rounds.
And whether or not it's regular Americans or the government that are hoarding stockpiles of ammunition.
100 rounds for how much?
$84.
We started at AM Shooting, a typical retail gun store in Damascus, Maryland, where Alex Rosenthal said he struggles to keep ammo in stock at any price.
One of my distributors just ran out of everything.
And we met gun safety trainer and gun enthusiast Dave Simmons, who talked about stockpiling.
I don't think a civil war is coming, at least not anytime soon, but there's people that prepare for that kind of thing.
And they hoard ammunition.
I wouldn't call it hoard. They prepare excessively.
We have been supportive of the idea that there should be some limits on bulk purchasing.
Chelsea Parsons is Vice President of Gun Violence Prevention at the Center for American Progress. She's concerned about ammunition stockpiling.
It is not appropriate to be able to buy an unlimited quantity of AR-15 ammunition online with no paperwork.
So how much hoarded ammunition is stockpiled out there? Well, the truth is no one knows. The U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms told me they do not keep track of sales or possession of ammunition. On YouTube channels catering to gun enthusiasts, preppers show off their stockpiles of bullets by the tens of thousands. And headlines in the wake of mass shootings illustrate a trend of large ammo stashes. And while gun control supporters object to stockpiling, gun owners say it's completely legitimate, normal, and constitutional. Larry Keene is Senior Vice President of the National Shooting Sports Foundation and a national spokesman for the entire gun industry.
It is not unusual for a gun owner to have many firearms because they serve different purposes.
As for the widespread theories circulating on social media like this, it's an artificial storage. The government is trying to starve people out of owning firearms. Let's verify. Is there any evidence the government is behind the shortage?
Let me just say categorically, that is not true.
Keene is our first source. He says the boom in demand was caused by things like the lockdowns and social unrest, at the same time that COVID-19 made it difficult for manufacturers to keep up.
In 2020, when over 21 million firearms were purchased, about 8.4 million first-time gun buyers.
Our other sources, Rosenthal, who owns AM Shooting in Maryland, and Sean Poland, who owns Nova Armory in Arlington, they agree it's all consumer demand.
It's a little bit like the toilet paper last year, right? They grab as much as they can, as fast as they can.
So we can verify false. The industry itself sees no evidence that government buying of ammunition is behind the shortage and the astronomical prices. Instead, according to the industry group representing manufacturers, a huge spike in demand is the primary factor, with hoarding and panic buying as part of the equation.